Hello and hi, Assalamualaikum to our dear madam. My name is Nurul Zahira binti Zulkifli. So, this is our slide for assignment of election in Malaysia. My team is Wadi Belal, Vanishri and Pashine. Okay, next. Introduction. In election, the people have the right to support, maintain or change the existing government in the voting process during the election. The Malaysian Constitution is the guideline for the system of parliamentary democracy in Malaysia. In line with time, several constitutional amendments were made to adapt the administration to current political development. The system of parliamentary democracy in our country has succeeded in maintaining a just, prosperous and stable government. Election definition. An election is a formal group decision-making process by which a population chooses an individual or multiple individuals to hold public office. Elections have been the usual mechanism by modern representative democracies have operated since 17th of century. From this slide, you can see that most of the people has decided to choose Pakatan Harapan during the election. Uh, as you can remember, before this, most people tend to choose Barisan Nasional, but this in this election, people choose Pakatan Harapan. This is because we, as the Malaysian, have the right to choose or support our current government. Thank you, and I pass to Vanishri.
Okay, let's we talk about what is parliamentary democracy. Malaysia is a constitutional monarchy with parliamentary democracy and its royal highness is the superior ruler. The federal constitution established the framework for the development of this system. The division of administrative power into three sections: legislative, judiciary, and administrative or executive is one of the requirements of the parliamentary democracy. Okay, let's we talk about the history of election in Malaysia. Malaysian federal election were held in accordance with the Tanah Melayu Provisions Federal Agreement of 1948. For the council legislative meeting, the federal government formed an election committee to review and provide recommendation on the topic. Audience on the party election local authorities were established in 1950, giving local council the authority to organize election. In 1951, the first municipal election were held in Georgetown on the island of the Penang. 9 members of the Commissioner Georgetown municipality were selected in the municipal election conducted in Georgetown. The day of registration, the voting period lasted 6 weeks from May 17 to June 30, 1951. In this election, a total of 14,514 persons have registered to vote. Okay, then this election is being held to fill 12 seats on the Kuala Lumpur Municipal Council for the area of Sentul, Bangsar, Imbi and Petaling Jaya. The UMNO Kuala Lumpur Division and MCA Selangor Division collaborated and unified this election. At this age stage, the alliance is known as the Alliance and it was won 9 of the 12 seats up to grabs. Election for the City Council of Johor Bahru, Ipoh, Alor, Melaka and Seremban followed. In competitive city council election, the UMNO and MCA combined continued to prevail. In 1954 state selections, the UMNO MCA alliance won 226 of the 268 seats up for grabs. At the time, the victory demonstrated the community acceptance of interracial cooperation in politics. Okay, let's we see the types of election. There are two types of election. One is small election, is another one general election. The general election are held when the parliament or the state legislative assembly is dissolved or dissolved itself after the expiration of 5 years. Okay, let's visit the small election. Small election is an election that takes place to fill the vacancy in parliament or the state of legislative assembly unexpectedly due to death, resignation, disqualification and revocation of election result by the electoral court.
Thank you, Pashin and Zahira. Now we're going to see about the electoral law and regulations. To streamline the electoral process, several laws and regulations have been enacted to ensure that the electoral procedure runs smoothly. The laws and regulations are Federal Constitution, State Constitution, Election Act 1958, Article 19, Election Offences Act 1954, Article 5, Elections Conduct of Elections Regulations 1981, Elections Registrations of Voters Regulations 2002, Elections Voting by Post Regulation 2003. All these laws and regulations are directly related to the electoral process. However, there are also some laws that, although not directly related to the electoral process, but it play a major role in the smooth running of elections. These include the Police Act 1962, Sedition Act 1970, Official Secrets Act 1972, and the Internal Security Act 1960. And now we're going to say about the voters' requirement. Voters must register with the Election Commission before he or she can vote in elections for the House of Representatives or the State Legislative Assembly. In Malaysia, a person is eligible to register as a voter if he or she a citizen of Malaysia, not less than 21 years old, on the date of eligibility, a resident of any constituency in Malaysia and not disqualified. In July 2021, with the approval of this amendment to the federal constitution, during Johor election in 2002, 18 years old voters are allowed to vote and become candidates compared to the previous 21 years old policy. Besides, voter registration will be done automatically. The amendment garnered the support of 47 of the 68 Dewan Negara members, more than the required two-third majority vote, after 24 senators took part in the debate session. And now we're going to see about the candidate requirement. House of Representative elections. A Malaysian citizen and resident in the Federation, Article 47 of the Federal Constitution, at the time of nomination, age not less than 21 years old on the day of nomination of the candidate. The State Assembly election, a Malaysian citizen and resident in the state where he wishes to contest, age not less than 21 years old on the day of nomination of the candidate. There is a possibility of disqualification as a candidate. The first one is found or confirmed to be an unsound mind, a bankrupt who has not been discharged, a person holding an income position, a person when he has been nominated for an election of the House of Representative or the State Assembly or become an agent. Election to the person who has been nominated, he has failed to submit the statement of election expenses as required by the law in the time and manner required. A person who has been convicted of an offences by a court in the Federation or before Malaysia Day in the areas of Sabah or Sarawak or Singapore and sentenced to imprisonment for a term of not less than 1 year or fine not less than 2,000 ringgit and has not received a pardon. If it's found to have obtained citizenship or to have exercised the citizenship rights of a foreign country or to have made a declaration of allegiance to have any foreign country. Thank you.
Lastly, as a conclusion, we as Malaysians must carry out our responsibilities as voters. Through the election campaign, the public can understand the process of voice formation and the election of power. The people can appreciate, respect, and appreciate the concept of freedom of the speech. We as voters must choose leaders who guarantee the futures so that our country is safe. Thank you.